So guys, update 4.0 is finally here, and with that obviously comes season 4, and as always with any of the updates and especially the seasons, I always do an update review. So today we're going to be going through update 4.0, talking about all the pros and cons, and so without wasting any time, let's get stuck right into it. Now this season has been hyped up for quite a while. This is probably the season of all the seasons they've done so far that has been kind of internally gassed up by DICE the most. Been a lot of marketing, there's been little leaks here and there, well not so much leaks but like sneak peeks of the new map Flashpoint. They've had their podcast going and everything. It's been really talked about, and I want to say straight off the bat, the season does not disappoint. I'd already say this is probably my favorite season so far based on just the amount of content that we've gotten as well as what we have gotten. Season 3 was really good as well, and I do think season 3 was a little bit more tied together in terms of all the weapons were a bit futuristic. Zane's a little bit futuristic with his armor, and those obviously tied into Spearhead because that's where those futuristic weapons were made. So season 3 probably had like a better theme to it, but I think the content that we've gotten in season 4 is as good, if not potentially better, than Spearhead and all of the other season 3 content. It's a little too early to officially say that for me personally because it's only been out a day as I'm recording this. I need to spend some, proper weeks playing the game and all the new content before I can actually say that. But as of right now, I'm really happy with what we've gotten. I do think it's probably going to be my favorite of the season so far. Now, like I said, there is obviously a new map with season 4 that is called Flashpoint, and so far I really like the map. It is definitely my kind of map compared to most of the other maps in the game. Now, all of the seasonal maps they've put in there since season 1, they've all been really good, and this one is no different than that. They've really kind of stepped up each single time they've made a new map. In my opinion, the best maps in the game are the 4 maps that we've gotten with each season, and I'd rank them in order of most recent to the least recent. So I do think this is already the best map in the game. It's definitely at least close with Spearhead. Again, I need to spend a bit more time on it, but I really like it so far. And so their trend of just continually making better and better maps is still definitely the case, because this one is once again just better than all of the other ones they've put in the game. I think the thing that I love about the map so far is that it kind of has a little bit of everything for every different type of playstyle. So obviously the map is a lot more close quarters than most of the other maps in the game. We all know that they're all very open, long range, lots of, running from flag to flag. This one is a lot more congested and sort of condensed, and yet it's not just a meat grinder. It's not Operation Locker where you have to be running around with an SMG or a shotgun. You can still use a sniper, you can still use an LMG. There are different ranges of engagement for every different type of playstyle. There are a lot of different unique areas on the map. There's different buildings, there's little underground sections, there's like little hillside areas where you can sit up on a rock and snipe people down within those buildings. There really just is something for everyone, even for vehicle players too. You can do really well with a vehicle, but I've also found that vehicles aren't like completely dominant, and it just feels like a pretty balanced map in terms of balancing out all of the playstyles. Now, I will say my main issue with the map is that it does go a little bit too quick, I think, because it is such a meat grinder in some areas. The tickets do fall really quickly, and the games tend to end like pretty quick compared to most other maps in the game. So I feel like I'm loading into a game, getting a handful of kills, and then the game's pretty much just over. It almost feels a bit like Exodus Conquest in that sense, where the games are just a little bit shorter. And so as much as I said it is balanced, I do think they need to do a little bit more balancing in terms of just making the games last a little bit longer, and maybe even a little bit of balancing in terms of which team you're on. I feel like one team, I can't even remember which team it is, but I think the team that spawns on the right side of the map, I feel like they're doing a little bit better because they do have a bit more high ground. But in saying that, it's not like a dominant performance from that side either. So overall, big fan of the map. I'd already say it's probably my favorite map in the game. It is definitely a little bit bland looking. It's not the most appealing map in terms of the aesthetics, but it plays really well, and for me that is all that really matters. Now, we obviously got a new specialist, and as far as I know, the final specialist being added to the game in Camilla Blasco. I wasn't too sure whether I would really like Blasco just because her abilities and stuff didn't sound that fun, but after actually playing a fair bit of time with Blasco, I actually really like her playstyle. She now gives me an option in that recon class, because for me personally, none of those other specialists really are that interesting, whereas I actually feel like I can play Blasco and have a bit of fun. So definitely a little bit surprised there that I do like Blasco. Most of the new specialists I don't really care for. I do really like Zane actually from season 3, but all of the other ones I'm not the biggest fan of them, and so it is nice to get a new specialist that I can kind of add into my rotation of specialists that I play on the regular. Now, we also got a bunch of new weapons with season 4. In previous seasons we were usually getting 2, maybe 3 new weapons with each season, and then we'd obviously get the vault weapons too, but this time around we actually got 4 new weapons, 3 of those being primary, and then we also got the shotgun shotgun secondary. Now, as for each individual weapon, they are all pretty decent, I think. They all feel very usable. What I'll say about the AC9, which is the SMG, that really is just the K30 from Wish. It is not all that spectacular, if I'm honest. It is definitely usable, and it's definitely fun to use as well, but if I'm going to use that weapon and I'm going to try and do really well, then honestly I may as well just use the K30 because it's a slightly better version with more ammo, and it's pretty much the same gun outside of that. So definitely not a bad addition, but in terms of like actually being the weapon that I want to choose, I'm probably going to choose the K30 if I'm trying to have a really good game. As for the RPT-31, which is the new LMG, this one is actually really fun to use. I'm not the biggest LMG fan. In most games that I play, they just feel a little bit too clunky for me. I'm a bit more of an aggressive type of player, but this one is actually really fun. Again, I'm not too sure how it stacks up compared to the other LMGs. I do still feel like the Avantis and probably the LCMG are both a little bit better than the RPT, but it is still really fun to use, and I think it's like on par with those weapons anyway. Even if it's a little bit worse, it can still hang with those weapons. So this one is another decent addition to the game. Now, as for the RM68, which is the new assault rifle, I'm going to be honest, I think this is already potentially the best weapon in the game. If not the best, then probably top 3 or 5 at the very, very minimum. This thing absolutely slaps at like mid-range, even at long range, and it can still hang at close range as well. I haven't even used all of the attachments. That's the other thing with all of these weapons I've just mentioned. I haven't even unlocked the attachments yet, and they all feel pretty decent, but the RM68 with literally no attachments feels already the best weapon in the game for me personally. Maybe it just suits my playstyle, I'm not really sure, but it feels like it's very versatile while not being too overpowered or anything like that, and can kind of do well at pretty much every single range. So I'm definitely a big fan of this one. It's also just got that really good aesthetic. It just feels good to use. It looks good. I like the reload animation. It comes with a different scope compared to most weapons, starting off with obviously just iron sights. It starts with the suppressor. Like, it just feels very nice to use straight away. And so yeah, this is a really, really good addition. It's already probably one of my favorite weapons in the game, and like I said, I do honestly think this may be the best once people actually get their hands on it. I feel like this is going to be the weapon that a lot of people are running once everyone unlocks it at about, I think it's level 40 in the Season 4 Battle Pass. Now finally, for the new weapons, we also, like I said, got the shotgun secondary. This thing is so much fun. I'm so glad they added this. I'm usually not the biggest fan of shotguns, but this one feels a little bit more balanced because obviously it is a secondary, so you don't have 8 bullets, or shells I should say. It only has 3 rounds, and the range is definitely a little bit shorter on it too, but it's really, really good as like a companion to a sniper or even to an assault rifle or an LMG like the 2 new ones, and it's just really fun to use. So this one is definitely a big win for me. Hopefully it doesn't get spammed to the point where it's just annoying, but for me personally, it just feels really, really fun to use so far. Now in terms of the Battle Pass, I definitely think the Battle Pass is once again pretty similar to how the maps have been. It's just a step up on the last one. They kind of are just getting better and better with their Battle Passes each season, which is to be expected. They obviously only did their first Battle Pass in Season 1, so it makes sense that with more practice and more time, they're going to just get better and better. And again, it's nothing crazy. It is just a Battle Pass. It's not groundbreaking by any means, but it does feel like there's a lot more unique and exciting things to unlock in this one compared to, say, Season 1, where there wasn't that much that was actually exciting to mark down and think, oh, I really want to get that skin. In this one, it definitely feels like there's a bunch of stuff along the way to Tier 100 that I really do want to actually unlock, so definitely a big win there as well from the Battle Pass. Overall though, this update just feels pretty similar to all of the other updates, where they are just making the game gradually better and better with each single update. Every season has been better than the last one, every update has been better than the last one, and for me personally, the game is actually in a really, really good place right now. It's so weird to say that after how this game launched. I never honestly thought that this game would get to the point where I'd be saying it's probably one of the better shooters out right now, but I do honestly believe that. I do think this is one of the best current shooters. I'm not going to say best shooters ever, because obviously it's not even remotely close. Even within the Battlefield franchise, it's not even close to being the best, but of all the currently supported shooters out there, I genuinely do think it's in that upper echelon. It's, for me personally, way more enjoyable than Call of Duty right now. We all know where Halo's at, and it's crazy to say that, but the game is actually in a really, really good state, and I've actually got that itch to come back and play over and over again. So massive props to DICE there. They do seem to be really just powering through and trying to fix this game up as much as they can, and I really do hope that they go beyond Season 5. Obviously right now we don't really know what the future holds for the game, but if we genuinely got another 4 seasons like this, by the end of the game it may actually be a really decent Battlefield game. I don't think this will ever be be the best. I don't think it will ever be on par with Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, even Battlefield 3 as well, but I do hope that they continue support because every single season they're doing is just better than the last one, and so I'll definitely not complain with another 4 seasons. That is going to do it for this review though, guys. There is definitely plenty of content on the way in regards to all the content we've gotten in the game. The next video I do is going to be a proper review on Flashpoint, the new map, because I feel like I need to actually properly discuss it, similar to how I did with Breakaway. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and then I'm also going to be doing guides on all of the new weapons as well, essentially like loadout guides on the best way to use them and the best attachments to use and stuff like that. So plenty of content on the way, and then obviously we're going to be getting the discarded rework, and there's still a lot more stuff to come in this season as well as season 5. So if you guys are enjoying the game and you are new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button for more Battlefield 2042 content. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.